All right, welcome back. I have something a little bit different to talk about today. Something I went through this hunting season that I didn't really talk about anywhere. I didn't post about anywhere, but it had a bigger impact on me than I would have thought, and I thought it was important enough to share with everybody. As you guys saw, I went out west to participate in an elk hunt with my sister and brother-in-law. Had a great time. On my way back from that trip, I stopped in Texas to go on a deer hunt, pig hunt, whatever we could come up with in Texas. And that was the middle of November, and I'll say that as someone that lives in Ohio, the last thing on my mind in November was ticks. Ended up shooting a really nice Texas buck down there. I'll insert a picture of that guy here. But about a week and a half, 2 weeks after I got back from Texas, I just started feeling really off. I had extreme fatigue. I'm a guy that normally sleeps 6.5, 7 hours a night. If I sleep more than that, I really don't feel well. I was sleeping 9, 10 hours easy, and then still waking up exhausted. Mentally, my focus wasn't there. Had what is described as brain fog. I also went through periods of just extreme sweats. I'd wake up in the middle of the night in literally a pool of sweat. I would have sweated through my shirt, my sweatpants, whatever I was wearing. It just didn't feel right. So my sister had gone through Lyme disease 2 years before, and so I had a hunch that this is what it was. I never found a tick bite. I never found the bullseye, but I was pretty sure that's what it was. So obviously everybody hears about the tick bite with the halo bruising around it. When I was doing research, I found that over 20% of Lyme disease cases never exhibit that halo. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's a genetic thing. I will say, when my sister caught it 2 years ago, she said she never found the halo either. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but that's not necessarily the only indicator. I went to the doctor and explained what happened, where I had been. Explained that I didn't find the bullseye or a tick bite or anything. And they did a test, came back negative. And what I learned during my research for Lyme disease was it's really something that can be very hard to diagnose. A lot of the tests take quite a bit of time before they show up, because the test is actually looking for a Lyme disease antibody or a protein that is used to attack the actual bacteria. They're not actually testing for the bacteria. So long story short, it took 6 weeks and 3 different rounds of tests before I finally came back testing positive for Lyme disease. And I'll say that one of the things the doctor mentioned to me is that she appreciated how tenacious and dedicated to this diagnosis that I was, that if I hadn't been, she would have given up on Lyme disease a long time ago, and that I might not have gotten the treatment and would have been subjected to what some of the long-term effects of what Lyme disease can cause, which can be quite serious. If you catch it relatively early, it's very easy to treat. I was on 2 weeks of antibiotics, nothing fancy. Within 2 days of starting the antibiotics, I felt completely normal again. My brain worked again. I didn't need 10 hours of sleep anymore. It was just really kind of shocking and amazing about how how quickly I recovered from it and was able to spend really the whole month of January hunting again. Thank goodness. But there was a 6-week period in there where, you know, I was down for the count. I could barely work, and I'm an engineer. I do office work, and even sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours was really a strain for me. So I'll say, no matter what season it is, unless it's the middle of the winter and 15 degrees like it is now, you know, treat your stuff with permethrin. This Sawyer's permethrin is something I already had, but the fact that it was November, it never crossed my mind that I would need to treat my hunting clothes with this. I typically think about this for turkey season or in the spring, but there's nothing that says you can't use it all year. You treat your clothes, you let them sit for 2 hours after you treat them, and the treatment lasts for a good 2 weeks in multiple wears and actual washes. So there's no reason not to use this, and I definitely will whenever I'm in the woods again. I'm heading back down to Texas in about a month for a pig hunt, and you better believe all my clothes will be treated with this. The guys at the Hunting Public did an amazing video where they sprayed permethrin on one side of a white painter suit and then left the other side untreated. I'll link that in the description below. And it's really quite amazing. It showed that ticks that landed on the permethrin side would immediately start exhibiting behavior that they were in serious distress, and would really pretty much die and fall off within a minute of landing on that side of the suit. And they absolutely weren't doing that on the side of the suit that was untreated. So I recommend that everybody go take a look at that video. The test that they actually caught it on was called a Western blot test. And that's not one that my doctor was familiar with. I had to recommend it to her. And once she did the research and learned about it a little bit, she recognized that that was the right way to go, and that's what actually caught it. Lyme disease, I don't think, is necessarily as well understood as you might think for something you've heard so much about. So I would say treat your clothes. If you go through something like I did with the extreme fatigue, with the brain fog, with the night sweats, there's a whole bunch of different symptoms, and not everybody gets all of them the same. So I would say go online and do your research. But get to a doctor, get tested, and then just stay really diligent about getting that diagnosis, getting the antibiotics, and getting it cleared up, because it's nothing to mess with. And thanks for watching.